Hello all. Children, we might have seen that people talking about food poisoning. Yes? So generally food poisoning happens when we eat outside food. So today we are going to learn about what is food poisoning, how it is caused, and what are the symptoms of food poisoning. So how is this food poisoning caused? So generally when food is kept uncovered, then the presence of pathogens, that is microorganisms, harmful microorganisms, they grow in them. So these microorganisms utilize the nutrients of the food, they start growing, sometimes they release their toxins into the food. So at that time when we consume such kind of food, with those microorganisms or toxins that are present in the food, then food poisoning is caused. How can we identify whether this food is spoiled or not? So here we can identify it through unpleasant smell, changed color of the food, bad taste of the food. What are the reasons for food poisoning? So here are some reasons. As I told, it is growth of microbes, that is harmful microbes or pathogens in the food, and then presence of toxins. These microorganisms, they produce toxins, they are present in the food and they cause food poisoning. And the other one is presence of some traces of pesticides in the food and the metal salts which are produced when the food reacts with the metal container which is used for storing. So how to identify whether the person is suffering from food poisoning? So here are some symptoms to show whether the person is suffering from food poisoning. So fever, then headache, vomitings and diarrhea. So these are the four symptoms to show that the person is suffering from food poisoning. So here I will give you a few examples of microorganisms which causes food poisoning. So the first one is Clostridium botulinum. So this bacteria, it causes a rare and severe food poisoning which is called botulism, and the bacteria usually grows on packed foods, especially the food which is being packed in the tins. So this is an anaerobic bacteria which does not require any oxygen for its growth. Now this bacteria releases toxins. So the presence of bacteria and the toxins in the tinned foods causes food poisoning. So the bacteria can be usually killed if the food is being heated for about 100 degrees centigrade. So the another example is Aspergillus, the fungus which releases a toxin called aflatoxin. So this fungus usually grows on the grains and vegetables and it causes liver damage when the people consume such kind of grains and vegetables. So the another toxin is produced by staphylococci. Now the toxin which is produced by staphylococci is very heat resistant toxin. So this toxin does not even get damaged even though it is heated for very high temperatures. So to avoid food poisoning, we have to take proper care to preserve the food. Then what do you mean by food preservation? So food preservation means protecting the food from getting spoiled, either by, and it is actually by two methods. One is by physical method, the other one is by chemical method. So here are some physical methods. So the first one is by cooling, second heating and cooling, third dehydration, fourth using natural preservatives like salt, sugar, oil, vinegar, fifth heating and canning, sixth vacuum packing. Now the chemical method of preserving the food by using chemical preservatives like sodium benzoate, potassium metabisulfite. Now we will see about physical method of food preservation. So the first one is cooling. So in this method, the food is stored at very low temperatures. At this temperature, bacteria cannot grow properly. It retards the growth of bacteria. So most of the foods like meat, milk, Curd, fruit and vegetables can be stored at low temperatures. The second method is heating and cooling. So this method is called as pasteurization. So this method is actually developed by Louis Pasteur. This method is generally used to preserve the milk. So first, the milk is heated to a temperature of about 60 to 65 degrees centigrade and then it is immediately cooled. So this fluctuation in the temperature protects the milk from bacterial contamination. Later the milk is stored in a sterilized containers or pouches. The next method is dehydration. So this method involves the removal of moisture. As we know, this moisture generally supports the growth of microorganisms. If the moisture is removed from fruits and vegetables, then the food can be preserved. So dehydration can be achieved by two methods. One is by sun drying, the other one is by smoking. So by sun drying, some of the vegetables like cauliflower and then spinach, fenugreek and then ginger can be protected from these harmful microorganisms. The other method is by smoking. So the fish and meat can be preserved by this smoking method. The next one is using salt, sugar, oil and vinegar. So using salt and sugar of almost 68% of concentration generally retards the growth of bacteria. This high concentration of sugar and salts absorbs the moisture that is present and it inhibits the growth of bacteria. And the other one is oil and vinegar. So these acts like a barrier between the food and the microorganism and it does not support the growth of them in the food. This is how the food is being preserved, especially pickles. So the next method is heating, canning and vacuum packing. So in this method, the food is first heated to around 110 degrees centigrade for almost 30 minutes and they are canned under vacuum. So most of the foods, packed foods which contain oil, they are being canned under vacuum and in airtight packages. So here in this method, air is removed and then flushed with oxygen-free nitrogen. The next method is using chemical preservatives. So in this method, the chemical substances are generally used to kill the food spoiling microorganisms. So here are two chemical substances. The first one is sodium benzoate, which is used to preserve the food such as fruit juices, whereas potassium metabisulfite is used to preserve jams, jellies, etc. Now let us see the advantages of food preservation. So if we follow food preservation techniques, we can avoid spoilage of the food. And the second is even the perishable foods can be available at distant places. And the third is foods can also be available in out of seasons. And the fourth is it also increases the storage period of perishable foods. In the next session, we will be learning about nitrogen fixation. Thank you.